Hi guys, welcome to Energetic Self-Defense. It's Grace Hart here. And this podcast is all about change the energy and change your life and becoming aware of energies so you can, when I say self-defense, defend yourself, yes, that's one aspect of it. However, I really wish to invite you to a whole different world where you can utilize energies to create your life rather than just beep, 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 retreating from something that you've chosen by accident and it's like, that's probably not my best choice. So today we're talking about the energy of creation versus competition. Now, the beautiful thing is when you start to play with energies, you get to notice the smell of them, the feel of them, they hear a certain way, they seem a certain way, and when you start to recognize it, it's like seasoning on the shelf. You start to know, that's that seasoning. That's that seasoning. I know what that's going to create if I bake with it, So creation, get the energy of that. Creation. It's a spaciousness of energy. Creation. It's this expandedness, this space, this almost vastness of, it's just beautiful. And with that, just like you're baking a cake, would you put judgment with that? Get the energy of judgment. Oh, dense, heavy, contracted, wrongness. I want to push against it. I want to resist against it. I want to react to it. Would you want to put that in your cake? So let's go back to the energy of creation. Perceive it? There it is, creation. What can I create? Oh, I have choice. There's creation. There's an energy of creation. Might not have it in my life, might not believe I can get it or choose it. Just like something can be in the supermarket shelf, doesn't mean you can choose it or have it, right? You have to make that choice. But you can perceive it. You can perceive the energy of creation. And now, what if you put in the mixing bowl? We've worked out judgment's not probably our smartest choice. So let's get that, we've booted out that energy. So now we've just got in the mixing bowl creation, right? That deliciousness. Very tasty. And let's just add in some competition. Oh. The energy of competition, the right, the wrong, the good, the bad, the polarity, winners and losers. Yeah, competition. Let's add that with creation. That's going to make our creation, tasty. Is it? My interesting point of view is, hell no, boot that sucker out. So now we've just got the bowl again with creation, yummy creation. Oh, okay, if I'm the chooser of this cake and creating this, what would I choose? Oh, what about gratitude? Let's see what that's like in the bowl. Oh, I don't know about you, but I just got a shot of goosebumps. That just, I feel pretty damn, I've got a big smile on my face. Creation and gratitude. That's expanded it. It's like something's happened to the creation. It's just made it even more delicious if that's even possible. You know what, I'm going to leave that in. And so this is what it's like. You get to choose. However, we're on addictive patterns. We've been taught that when we want to change something, we need to go into judgment of it. But the energy of judgment. When has that ever made you feel like you have, you're safe, secure and supported to be able to share something or change something or be vulnerable to say what's going on for you? And so if you're a leader of any kind, if you've got people working for you or with you, however you want to say it, your kids, your family members, whatever it is, you are in relationship with even the shop assistant, for the time that you're with them. So what do you want to bake? For, during that 5-minute, conversation, or whether you're living with someone, what would you like to bake? And what happens is if somebody does something or behaves in a way or something happens and you go into the rightness and wrongness, they're wrong, makes you right. What does that create? So this week, what I would like you to do is when there's a quote unquote problem, instead of going into blame or frustration or defending or justifying or, having conversations with other people on how terrible it is, what are you adding into the cake? Judgment, blame, superiority, righteousness. Is that a cake that you want to eat? Because the interesting thing is when you choose these energies, that's what you beam out. And then you might wonder why no one speaks to you or no one likes you or no one, people are resisting you or not seeing your greatness. not seeing your beauty. Because within us, we have the ability to the whole pantry, a universal pantry. But if what you're putting your attention on is baking resentment, bitterness, exhaustion, tiredness, everything you choose has an energy. Now, that's not to invalidate what you're feeling. If you are frustrated, okay, acknowledge that. You've put frustration in your bowl. Okay, acknowledge it. What would be the antidote to that? Rather than feeding that frustration with other energies of judgment and separation and, more and more seasoning to reduce your energy, and you reduce your capacity to see possibilities and reduce your capacity to play in the infinite minds, to have infinite possibilities. And the beautiful thing is, even if, let's say, your boss is not a nice person and they're actually not open to creating a beautiful cake with you. They just want to create their judgment cake or whatever. But acknowledge that. However, you can still be all the seasoning that you desire to be. You don't need to go into resistance and reaction of what other people's seasoning and what they're choosing. There's a beauty in allowance. When you are in allowance of other people's choices, even if you don't get it, even if you get that that's something that's not generating and creating for them, if you're in allowance of that, then when you connect with them, they're going to perceive that you aren't resisting or reacting to their very being and their very choices. Because you get it. When people are in trauma, they're going to make choices that maybe aren't the best. When they're in resistance or reaction or in their fight, flight, freeze, or whatever mode they're in, they don't have access to infinite possibilities. They're going to be making choices that aren't the best. We've all been there. So your challenge this week is to recognize that you, my friend, have access to all energies. If you are someone who thinks the world is happening to you, that you have no choice, maybe look at that. Because my point of view is the universe is always happening for us and with us. It desires us to thrive. It just doesn't have a point of view. And if you say, I want to cook a cake that, smells of poo and judgment and hatred and eat that so I don't ever pay attention to the beauty I can be or be able to contribute to a space and place that I know is possible, to dance in the playground of infinite possibilities, the universe is going to say, yep, no worries. Here you go. Kind of like going from poo to possibilities. And just because someone else is baking a poo pie doesn't mean you need to eat it, right? You just acknowledge it. Okay, that's an interesting choice that they're creating that. Awesome. Good on them. No judgment here. Total allowance. However, what would I like to create with them? I'll give you an example. I had a client who had an autistic son and a daughter who wasn't on the spectrum. And this particular child, his autism was substantial enough that he hit. And when the child was at home, the daughter had to wear a bicycle helmet, and the mum as well, when she was feeding this child, had to wear padding and a bicycle helmet because the hitting was really offensive. So she rang me at her wit's end. And I just asked her one question. I said, I'm just curious, does he hit everybody? And she said, no. I said, okay. They were a split family. I said, does he hit his dad? And she said, no. And I said, what about the other family members in the other household? Does he hit them? No. Does he hit his teachers? No. And I said, but he's coming home and hitting you. And her point of view, as soon as I said that, which is a way of her defending because she felt wrong, she said, oh, it's just that I really understand his frustration. I'm the only one that gets it. And so he can be himself. He can actually relax and let out the anger. So it's so hard for him to be good with everyone else. And this is where we've got to take responsibility for the cakes that we're creating. Now, it might be true that he has incredible frustration. And, oh, thank goodness, when he comes home, he can just let go and let loose. That might actually be true. However, is that the cake you wish to create? And it's amazing how just a point of view can allow you and your family member to get abused. Because you want to fight for the rightness of, he needs his outlet. And so I said, okay. Through questioning, we worked out that he does need an outlet. So we chose one for him. And when I say chose one for him, through communication with him, he was able to communicate, this is what I'd like. So the mum went off and created that. And the hitting just stopped immediately. So when you're in a finite point of view and you're just baking your cake based on your rightness, it is the way it is because of A, B, and C. The boss is the way he is because of the way he is. I knew someone who just started a job, and there was this conversation where these two owners were just going for it, just screaming at other members of the office. And this new person also got into the fire, the line of fire, and one of the bosses, really raised his voice and screamed at this particular person. However, this particular person is a dear friend of mine, and he knows how to create with energy. And so he let the man yell, and then he just asked for a moment with him a little bit later, and he said very calmly, I'm only new here and I don't know what's going on, and I'm looking forward to getting to know everyone. And hearing you scream this morning makes me realize there must be something really challenging going on for you. And I'm sorry about that. However, I also wish you to know, if you ever raise your voice to me like that again, it's not acceptable for me, and I will be putting in my notice and leaving. Now, because he was willing to be the energies that were required, and it's different per person, and that's why you got to read the room. But this guy read the room, and the boss just broke down. He said, we've just been told by headquarters that we have to fire a quarter of our staff, and I don't want to fire any of them. And I'm thinking if I can get them all over the line, then we can get, our services up that no one needs to get fired. And can you see that's a completely different energy to what he was doing in the meeting? And so my friend said, can I make a suggestion? I'd love you to be vulnerable enough to say that to everyone. And he goes, oh, no, I can't do that. As soon as they know that their job's at risk, they're going to get angry, and they're going to put bad statements into me, and then I'm going to look bad. And he said, but what's the choice now? Look at the morale. So he was willing, which is beautiful. This boss was willing to have that conversation. And not only did he not get crucified for it, he got such kindness just flowed to him. And they all stepped in together and got through, and no one got fired. He brought in the energy of vulnerability, kindness, caring, the energies of boundaries, the energies of, I can have your back if you're willing to try something else. However, if you're not willing to to acknowledge what cakes you're creating, you're going to go on autopilot. He thought that was the right thing to do. Just yell at everyone, force them into doing something so they don't get fired, right? Because that's just what you're supposed to do. But if you're willing to actually recognize that you're the generator and creator of your life, that you have a universal kitchen, a universal pantry, you can have and receive anything. So this week, what I'd love you to look at is, are you willing to create your life, or do you want to be right? Are you willing to create an outcome that is generative for both parties? or do you want to make them wrong? Do you want to be superior? Do you want to be the bully? These are all energies and your choices. However, I am letting you guys know we're heading into a world where energies are going to become more and more available and more talked about. And the energies of heart and vulnerability are going to be the new currency. So if you're one of those people out there that are holding on to your rightness of the point of view or judgment, being superior, if you're one of those people that look at, oh, I know what you're doing, rather than what can we create, you're going to find this transition painful. However, if you're willing to have energetic self-defense and say, wow, okay, what energies are required here? Vulnerability. Yep, okay, I'm going to step into it, even if it's uncomfortable. Oh, I'm feeling tired. All right, there's the energy of tiredness, exhaustion. Okay, I get that. Awesome. All right, now what? What can I pull in? Oh, I'd love an energy of ease or an energy of spontaneity or an energy. You can pull it in. You can pull it in as an energetic form. So have fun with this week. Look at what cakes you are baking. Are you baking a problem pie or a possibility pie? And I know which one I'd like to eat. I'm just saying. Okay, take care. I adore you. And watch your energies. And when you're speaking, pay attention to the energies. When people are inviting you places, pay attention to the energies. Being aware of the energies is the first step to have energetic self-defense and also energetic self-creation. And when I say self-creation, it's really just creating with the universe. But I just, played on the title. Okay, take care. Lots of love to you. Bye.